Are we already rolling?
Nearly there.
Nearly. I know. But just
Like,
like,
oh, too bad we didn't get all that gold.
Magic.
When did you guys get in? Did you get in? Are you
yesterday.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't have. I'm in an altered state.
Of six.
Not in a good way.
Espressos deep.
Yeah. I think being in an altered reality sort of state
Yes.
is probably good for this.
It makes
think.
perfect sense.
Yeah.
It gets you in the mood. Talk about alternate dimensions.
Yes, we've been glitching quite a bit.
Let's talk about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That was Phil Lord and Chris Miller, by the way. They made things like 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, the Lego Movie, and now this.
So as you guys know, like I'm not a journalist or anything.
Yes.
I'm on the internet.
You're just
I'm a filmmaker.
You're a human being.
Yeah. So really, like
comedy,
yeah, all that sort of stuff.
entertainment.
More of a
So I'm
colleague.
basically just going to try
Yes.
and steal
Peer.
from you, if that's all right.
Do it.
Yeah.
We steal from everyone else,
You're
so
gonna
it's
steal it from
fine.
me back.
I mean, I'm part of a duo as well, so
That's
I wanted
right.
to
That's
know
right.
like what your guys' dynamic was when you're like writing and directing and producing together. I'm just sort of interested in that.
What we'll tell you, is the camera rolling at this point yet, or are we
I think
not?
so. Yeah, we are.
Oh, it's one of those.
Sorry,
It's
we
one
can
of a-
start over
it's
again.
a-
I thought we were. didn't realize-
That's mainly the process.
Oh yeah, it's okay. We can do it.
All right.
Go ahead.
Is that your process? Is the camera on?
Yes. The first
We
thing
don't
to
wanna
find out
ruin-
is if cameras are rolling. That's one thing we've learned from
Okay, good.
being in the business
Professional
now.
tips.
I'll note that
Lens
one
caps
down.
are off. All that stuff. Very
Oh
important.
yeah. Let me tell you, we shot for 3 days on the first Jump Street with lens caps on.
And then we were like, you know what? Maybe we should try it with.
We're like, maybe we could use this for ADR later on.
But as far as our partnership has gone, we started when we were in university, as you guys say, and
I don't know what that means.
I know it's crazy.
College.
But exactly.
I'm here to translate.
Thank you.
It's like this
Yeah.
dynamic
So good.
we've formed.
Exactly. We're
Tell
already,
Chris
we're already
I'm
a
still mad
threesome.
at him.
But we made student films back in those days and helped each other on each other's films, and then we came out to Los Angeles to try and make it in entertainment, and kind of accidentally became a team and just never corrected the record really. And luckily we really have similar sensibilities and really respect and admire what the other one can do. So.
And Phil, you feel the same?
I feel the same.
If you haven't seen this movie yet because you think it's just another superhero movie or because it's the 7th Spider-Man movie to be made and it's got a silly title, I hope this video can change your mind, because those of us that have seen it, hi, welcome, it's a bit bloody good, isn't it?
Like I want to just gush at you about how much I absolutely loved this movie. Like it's
thanks.
genuinely fantastic.
The story follows Miles Morales, who's a normal kid from Brooklyn starting a new school, but he gets bit by a spider, obviously, and now he's involved in this big, interdimensional, complicated plot that could end the world. Obviously. I know it sounds big, and it is. It's big and exciting and fun and funny, like properly funny, like laughs every few seconds. That's how funny it is. But at its core, it's this very small, intimate story about one kid called Miles, his relationships, and him trying to figure out who he is.
We just think he's an amazing character. We love the comic that he came from. He's got an amazing family situation to write about. His parents are alive. They're together. He's in a bilingual household, and he's, even though like the relationships are not in question, everybody loves each other, but there are a lot of questions about how are we going to do the best job possible raising this kid? How am I going to fulfill the desires of my parents for me to be all I can be? Those are really important questions, and they're really important to talk about.
First of all, it's an animation, so let's talk about the animation. This film feels like, and looks like, a kinetic comic book. You want to talk about comic books coming to life? This is it. This is now the standard. I feel like some of the imagery from this movie is already iconic. Like, even if you haven't seen it, if I tell you Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I bet you're thinking about the scene where he's falling up to the city. That is just burned into my brain, and I can't believe it hadn't been done before. By the way, a little side note, in the screenplay, when that moment happens, it's described like, Miles isn't falling, he's rising. Ooh. That's the sort of stuff that gets me jazzed. As a translation from writing to an image, that might be one of the best examples I've ever seen.
I think the live action stuff has made the animation more spontaneous. I think because we do so much improvising on set typically, and you get the most interesting things that way. You get the best of what the actors have to offer, and And in animation, spontaneity is really hard to come by because you will work on the same shot for 2 years. So we really wanted to emphasize that in this picture, where you felt like you were witnessing human behavior all the time, not just like a stock idea about human behavior.
Your introduction to Miles is him singing along to a song and he doesn't know the words, and that's very funny, but I also think it's a very intelligent way of introducing your protagonist, because we're being invited into this private moment and he's doing something that we've all done. We've all sang a song and not known the words. We've all tried to sing an octave too high. There's something really vulnerable about him, and there's nothing knowing or ironic about the performance. It's just honest. So we completely project ourselves onto him and relate to him and empathize with him straight away in the first shot. That's why it's such a smart introduction. And it's funny.
Filmmaking is a really collaborative medium. Like, very few films are a one-person operation. I mean, the huge crews and actors and many creative people involved in making these things. And so, learning how to work together was a great way to sort of branch that out into what is really a collective thing, especially this movie, which had a lot of really talented people working for years to make this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only you two. There's 3 directors on
That's
this as well,
correct.
isn't there? That's that is an insane.
That's a
amount of
5-headed
collaboration.
monster
I
already.
love that. That's
Yeah.
a sharing thing, though.
We're really lucky because we have these amazing collaborators that all have different superpowers, and any one of the 5 of us could have made this movie on their own. It just wouldn't have been as good. I don't know. It's just really inspiring to work with directors that have so much soul and are coming at it from a different point of view all the time. So we're just learning. That's the best part of it.
Well, I feel like it could have been a disjointed mess if everybody wanted a different type of movie, but
Yeah.
luckily we always knew how we wanted to feel, how we wanted to look, and we were all going in the same direction, which is why it ended up feeling like it was one voice, because we were all sort of building off of each other. It was a really cool experience.
Yeah, it seems like a really modern way to make a movie.
Mhm.
I feel like it's a lot more like younger filmmakers are much more open to the idea of just like, come on, let's all just pitch in, because I feel like
Yeah.
that's what we've been doing before we get any budgets or anything. Everyone's just sort of
Yeah.
pitching in.
Yeah.
And this feels like the big budget animated version of something like that.
Yeah, it's a bit more of a film school vibe
Yeah.
where you just feel like we're all the Muppets and we're just trying to, put on a show. And I don't know, I like the spirit of having a creative community. And I think that's really the truth of something, especially something that has 1,000 crew members,
Yeah.
right?
And this is really symbolic of the message of the movie, is that a bunch of different people from all walks of life with different skills and talents and different world experiences coming together
For the same
a
goal,
common cause.
save the
Exactly.
city.
Exactly. And that was our goal: save the city.
This film has done a terrible job of saving the city.
That is true.
It does a lot of things well.
No cities have been saved.
That's right.
Yet. By
So
this
far,
time.
maybe.
We don't know. It's possible.
Yeah.
I actually think that's a really good point. I mean, I don't want to make too much of a thing about it, but it's a pretty timely message that something this brilliant couldn't have been made if it wasn't for these different people with different experiences all coming together to make one thing. Don't you think that's kind of great? I mean, the story is about characters that are literally from different worlds trying to achieve something together.
Just the idea of multiple animation styles coming together in one picture seemed like a huge opportunity to make a movie that no one had ever, that looks like something you've never seen. And the other really big opportunity was maybe we could make a movie about Miles and create
Finally.
Finally a world where Miles's story was welcome and where all these different characters belonged in this picture.
The one minor criticism that I have is that I feel like the story between Miles and Peter B. Parker kind of gets lost with all the other interdimensional stuff that's going on. Like, personally, I would have preferred if that was more of a focus, because it was so strong at the start, then kind of fades into the background. But if that's all I've got, that one of the many storylines gets lost, kind of, you're doing all right. Another standout aspect that I wanted to mention was the score composed by Daniel Pemberton. He has done some of my favourite soundtracks from the last few years, notably the Steve Jobs soundtrack. Oh, if I ever want to write anything, I'll just stick that on and I'm away. For me, understanding how something was made gives me a better appreciation of the final product. So for this soundtrack, they recorded an orchestra and then they put it onto vinyl, and then they scratched it to picture, so it's composed properly, like not just afterward. They did it live. It just blows my mind. If you want to know more about that, I definitely recommend following Daniel Pemberton on Twitter. He did like threads upon threads about how the soundtrack was made, and it's fascinating.
We went back to Sony and said, okay, we'll do it, but only if it gets to be about Miles Morales, and we can push the animation style to crazy places that have never been seen before. And they said, okay.
Oh, fine.
They said, okay. We said, oh, really? Oh.
They called our bluff.
Yeah, and then we had to make it.
Yeah.
Like, you put a pig in it.
We did.
Yeah, also we put a
exactly.
pig in it.
We put a pig in it.
I know.
Exactly.
I think that's all the time I've got, guys.
You
so
put a pig in it.
Put a pig
Finishing
in
it
it.
on, you put a pig in it.
Yeah, that's like a meme waiting to happen.
Yeah. You put a pig in
Put a
it.
pig in it. How do you do
How do we
it?
fix this thing? Put a pig in it.
Put a pig in it. It's like put a chip in it,
Exactly.
but
Less useful.
But less useful.
I like
Even less useful than a chip.
Indeed.
I don't know.
Awesome.
Thank
It's
you.
nice to
Great to
finally meet you in human form.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you for watching this video. I hope you got something out of it. I certainly did. I can't believe that Phil Lord and Chris Miller kind of knew who I was. You can like it if you liked it. You can subscribe if you're new. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I also do a podcast with Mark Kermode if that's something you're interested in. We talk about movies together. We argue about movies. So if that's something you're interested in, please give it a listen. I'll leave a link in the description. I hope you do. I'm really, really proud of it. I can't believe I get to do it. I'll see you soon. Bye.